Okay, you guys, so let's talk about the versus battle. And that would be the battle that was had between Fat Joe and Ja Rule. I can tell you guys that I totally forgot about it. I wasn't on social media. I am very much not on social media during the week, these last couple of weeks with everything that's going on with the soul. My mind just was completely not on versus. I didn't even think to go on Twitter. And I don't even know if anybody reminded me on Twitter that it was happening. So yeah, I completely missed it. But I did see some clips and it looks like it was a good time had by all. I pretty much felt like Ja Rule would be the winner. I haven't watched it because my thing is, if I don't see something live when it's happening, when it's an event like that, like I don't feel like going back to watch it. Okay, I don't watch award shows after they've been, they've aired, and I don't watch something like this after it would air either. So just had to watch the clips, and the clips was enough for me. And by most accounts, I have read that Ja Rule won. Now, you guys, Ja Rule had some big hits. I mean, at one point, he was everywhere, everything. And Fat Joe did have big hits as well. But I don't know. I just felt like Ja Rule still was the one at one time. So that part is not surprising for me. What's disappointing is me hearing about Fat Joe saying what he said about Lil Mo and Vita. Okay, now I'm not familiar with the artist Vita. I don't really know who she is, but of course I do know who Lil Mo is. And besides the fact that Lil Mo has had her antics in her life, none of us have known her to be a crackhead. Okay, Fat Joe, who I believe was caught up in the moment. Okay, he was on stage with Ja Rule. And there was a point in the competition or celebration, they would like you to believe. There was a point in the competition when Fat Joe was going to bring out Remy Ma, which is, of course, he was, because where Fat Joe is, there so is Remy. Okay. And so Ja Rule was teasing him like, oh, you had to bring Remy Ma out here to save you. And when he said that, Fat Joe was like, oh, you had to get your dusty bitches. You had to get them dusty bitches to help you too. Okay. And, when Ja Rule was still poking at him about Remy, Fat Joe said that you had to go to the crack house to get them bitches. Okay. And when I heard him say that, I was like, well, damn, that's harsh. But you have heard like when people are just like bagging on each other or roasting or whatever you guys call it these days, shit will be said that's out of pocket. In the bagging session, it could be all kind of things that are said. But the problem is that you are on stage and you are saying it to a lot of people who may not get the joke. Okay. And when you talking about something like this, when you calling people dusty bitches and crackheads and everything, like that's not really a joke that anybody is going to take well to. I mean, especially Lil Mo and Vita. And I would imagine that at least Lil Mo and Fat Joe knew each other well enough, I'm sure, because Lil Mo at one time was, she was the singing hook girl, the R&B girl in all of these rappers' songs. So I'm sure that they've ran in the same circles and they've been around each other and all that. And I'm sure that he knows that Lil Mo is not a crackhead. Okay. And Vita as well. Like I said, I don't really know her, but I'm sure that he knew that was some foul shit to say. Okay, so Lil Mo has come out and said that she demands an apology from Fat Joe because she is not and never has been a crackhead. And when he said what he said publicly, I'm sure she would like to have a public apology as well. So Fat Joe does come up with some old lackadaisical, I'm sorry, ladies, for what I said, if I offended you, it's all love, I really care, whatever he said. But it was like a afterthought. It didn't seem like he was really sincere in what he was saying. I don't think that he realized the impact of, social media always blows shit up, right? That's what we've been talking about today. So, if that had just been a concert without television coverage and cameras and all of that, that would have been one thing. But when you on social media and everything, and how large that can be, you know, you got to make the apology be large as well. And let me be clear, he absolutely needs to apologize to them two women, okay? That shit was foul. It was wrong, and it was embarrassing, okay? Now, Remy Ma, because she loves Fat Joe, decided to insert herself in the conversation, and I'm gonna read to you guys what she said to Little Mo. Okay, so this is on Remy Ma's Instagram. Stop it, Mo. Okay, so first, Lil Mo said, I need everyone to tell Fat Joe he owes a genuine apology. I don't live in a crack house. I'm not a bitch, nor am I dusty. Street code, women and children is off limits. Okay, disappointed legend faculty music group. Okay, now, I don't know if women are off limits these days. I mean, people talk about women all the time, and especially if you're a black woman, honey, we catch them bullets, we catch them strays all the time. But anyway, Remy Ma responded to her and said, stop it, Mo. You know damn well Joe ain't on it like that. First of all, you, V, Shanti, or nobody had even come out yet. When him and Ja was going back and forth, we didn't know who was in the back. Second, I was in the car when you walked through the parking lot and he hugged you and showed mad love as usual. No need for your followers to tell him anything. As someone who personally knows you, I'm sorry you were offended. You can call my phone. Matter of fact, I'm gonna DM you my number in case you don't have it anymore. But also, as someone that personally knows Joe, he was not intentionally trying to hurt anyone. It was a battle between friends that are like family. Sidebar, street code, don't do social media. The thing about it is, now, if it had been Remy Ma that was being called a dusty bitch and the crackhead, I'm sure she would have a whole lot to say about it. Okay, so that's the one thing. So I wish that Remy Ma would probably put herself in Little Mo's shoes instead of rushing to the defense. And I will agree that he probably got caught up, but the fact that they're saying that they didn't know who was coming out, you see Little Mo, come on, she's on some of Ja Rule's hits. Like, first of all, I just wish Remy would have stayed out of it. Let Fat Joe got himself into this, so let Fat Joe get himself out of it. When Remy Ma is trying to defend Fat Joe, it starts bringing up all kind of other things that people want, remember about Remy Ma that they probably would like to, that she probably would like for us to forget, when it comes to her. I would imagine that Remy Ma has grown, that she has learned from her mistakes. And, when something like this, where you're supporting somebody that's done something so negatively, it just brings back, the feelings of why people kind of felt like Remy Ma. She's done a lot to change her image. And we don't need shit to just be fucking the image back up again, So I hate that Remy even got in that. Because really, Fat Joe and Lil Mo, if she feels like she should get an apology, then he needs to give it. That's just really just it. I don't know if Vita has demanded an apology as well, but he needs to go on and give her one as well too. I know people are saying, "Oh, did you see how they looked though?" And so, that has nothing to do with anything. Okay, that shit was rude. That shit was fucked up, and it was embarrassing. Okay, so yeah, he's gonna have to apologize. I know they went live last night on Instagram. I don't know what was said there, but I hope that they can get that resolved. Now, as far as the rest of the battle, like I said, they say that Ja Rule was the winner. I have seen all the memes of Nelly, when they was gassing him up to go over there and say something to Ashanti, and for him to walk across the stage and finally give her a hug and all of that. Nelly, to me, is going to be a forever bachelor. I don't know if Ashanti is ever going to give him that chance again, because it seemed like when they broke up, it wasn't on the best terms. If you guys saw that hug that she gave him, honey, I'm talking about it was the whole, okay, booty out, not flat up against the body, like a pat, pat, pat. That was it. So everybody could get the, people can say that he want that old thing back, and he very may well want that old thing back, but I don't think he gonna get that old thing back. Okay, that Ashanti looks great. When you look at that girl, the way she's aging, Oh man, she's aging backwards. I want whatever the fuck she drinking. But yeah, you guys, what do you think about Fat Joe? I was disappointed. It's just unfortunate that he did that. But do you think that he was really trying to be intentionally mean to her? Do you guys think that he just got caught up in the moment? And that it was just something where you could just laugh about, you know, with your friends. Again, I told you guys that kitchen table talk is totally different when you in front of a mass of people. So go on and apologize to them girls, Fat Joe. She deserves it. All right, you guys, so the VMAs. I did have them on, but I didn't really pay much attention. I mean, there were only 3 people that I wanted to see perform, and I did watch those performances, but the rest of it, I was like, I don't know who this is. I don't know what this song is. I don't know, you know. I have definitely officially aged out on the VMAs. When I used to live in LA, and I had more access to like white music because in Atlanta, the child, unless you listen to a white station, you ain't getting nothing else but black music. Okay, so I don't even really know some of these songs any longer, but yeah, so whatever. But let's talk about the 3 people that I said that I wanted to see, which was Doja Cat, who was the host, Chloe, and Normani. So let's just go in order. First, Doja Cat, you guys. First of all 3 of these women are very talented. So let me say that first. Okay, I think that Doja Cat is an all-around performer. She can sing, she can dance. She looks like she's like formally trained as a dancer, not just for play. And so is Normani. She looks like she's professionally trained as well. Okay. And she can sing. Like, these are triple threat girls. All right. Chloe is a phenomenal vocalist. Like, and they all have it. Okay. They all have it. These are the girls that everybody's eye is on right now. We'll start with Doja Cat. I think that she was my absolute favorite, you guys. I loved the imagery of her floating in the air, singing the song. I don't even know what the song is, but with that halo going around her and her floating in the air and just the spotlight being on her, I thought it was beautiful. I was like captivated when I watched that. I was like, that is so fucking creative. Okay. And I love that kind of thing when people, you know, really go in, you know, when people really give a lot of thought to the process of putting their music out there. That's why Kanye does so well when it comes to, you know, his music may or may not be what you like, but just seeing the stuff that happens on the stage, those are the kind of things that captivate me as well. So I was just like really in awe of that. And then even when she got down on the ground, I'm not sure if that was the same song or not, but it was just beautiful. I loved the dancing. I loved her back and forth with the men that were on the stage there. I mean, her performance to me from all 3 of those girls, hers was my favorite one. Okay. Chloe, I told you guys before, and you guys have corrected me many times on this, but I still will stick to it. I feel like Chloe is a smaller version of Beyonce. Okay. And when I say smaller, I guess I mean younger, like, you know. It is very, very, very clear that the influence that Beyonce has had on those girls, I have always felt like they sound like Beyonce to me. You guys were like, no, Roxanne, if you listen to the album, you know, they have their very own distinct sound and direction that they're going. And I just said, okay. But I've always felt like in the back of my mind that, you know, she heavily influenced them, which is fine because they are her protege, you know, and she has honed them and she's made sure she's guided their careers and things like that. So that's all fine. But I can tell you when I watched her performance on the VMAs, although it was very well executed, okay, the dancing was all on point. The people up there, you know, it just gave me Beyonce. And when you sound so much vocally about some, you know, like someone, and then you have the same imagery that we have seen Beyonce do, it doesn't feel fresh. It doesn't feel new. It feels like a copy. And really nobody should really want to copy Beyonce. You should want to break out of that because you're always going to be compared to that, you know? And 9 times out of 10, when you compare to Beyonce, you're not going to be able to deliver that same way. Now, she did great. She sounded great. You know, I'm sure they're singing to a track or whatever, but it didn't feel like it was anything new. It honestly felt like if I turned down my TV, I would have thought that was Beyonce up there with some dreadlocks. I just feel like Chloe is going to have to really try to come up with her own sound and look, okay? Because even some of the choreography, you know, this part when she was doing the little thing, I mean, that is Beyonce, okay? We know that that's a Beyonce move. And a lot of the other things that she did, I just was like, man, I hate that, you know, we got to sit here and say that Chloe is doing all Beyonce stuff, you know, because the girls worked hard. We all have our eye on her now, and everybody is saying Beyonce, 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 you know. And then of course we can't forget about the sexual tone of the dance. That's where the world is today. Is everything is very hypersexualized. I can tell you that as much as I love for me and my girls to get out and have a good nasty girls song out playing and us dancing and everything, like I am starting to get over the whole everything being about sex. And I just wanted to be more, you know, people back in the day who did do sexual things, there was still more that was brought to the table. It just seems like everything now is sex, 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 sex. And I know sex sells, and I know that that's what the people want. But me being a 50-year-old woman watching these things, like I've had enough of that. So that brings me to Normani's performance. I thought she did well as well. I thought she looked good as well. There was some mix-up, they said, with her being able to hear and, you know, communication with her dancers and things like that, but you couldn't really tell. But again, the over-sexualized tone of things is just a lot, okay? And so, you know, she was very much inspired by the Janet Jackson and we've seen even Teyana Taylor do her thing with having people tied to the chair or to a board and them getting on. I mean, we've seen Janet Jackson do it back in the day. And Normani did do her special take on that, where she had Teyana Taylor up on the board and she got up there and simulated sex with her, and you know. And I just was like, okay, yeah, we've seen this a lot too, you know. And this is a lot. Okay, call me old-fashioned. Yes, Janet Jackson did do that in the past, but like I said, there was more to artists than just that. You know, it wasn't just all about sex. So that's the only gripe that I have with the music of today. All of the girls seem to just be very, 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 very sex inspired and influenced, and it's just really nothing else. So I want more from them, you know, when I think about Normani and Chloe. I just want them to showcase all of their talents. Okay. I mean, Chloe, we know that, you know, we've seen the not so you know, not the sexy stuff. And, you know, cause when you hear her sing, you know, she has it, you know, especially, and we've seen Normani dancing but I'm just really over all the sex. What did you guys think about the performances? I know there were other people that people were talking about, but I don't really care about nobody else. But if there's anybody else that you want to talk about, then y'all go on ahead and leave that in the comments. All right, you guys, and then the Met Gala. You guys wanted me to talk about that. I mean, I don't really know what I'm supposed to talk about. You know, it was what it was. I didn't really enjoy any of the fashions from, the Met Gala. I know that the theme was In America, a lexicon of fashion. Okay, and I guess it was supposed to be like a celebration of American fashions over the years. I don't really know how people interpret these kind of themes. I would imagine a theme like that would mean that you would get like known American designers and wear their fashions and turn it into, so I mean, the Met Ball is still like a costume ball. So it is something that's going to be more dramatic than just them wearing American designers. But I mean, that's what I had in my mind, child. I don't really know what the hell was going on at the Met Gala. I can only tell you of a few people who stood out in my mind that when I think of right now, I thought that they looked fabulous. Kendall Jenner, yes. That girl's body just wears things so nicely. I loved what she had on. I thought that Keke Palmer looked beautiful. I actually loved Kalani's look, even though I could have done without the two-tone hair, but even the hair for me was it. Like, I loved that look, and it kind of gave me a whole Saturday Night Live, a whole Saturday Night Fever vibe. I love Natalia Bryant's dress, even though it looked like, you know, the blow-up vases that you see when you go to TJ Maxx and they have them in the back. But she looked so cute to me. I loved the way that looked. I thought Sierra's dress was fantastic. I loved that look. Okay, and I mean, what else? You're wearing an American football jersey dress. You know, of course it is coutured down to the gods, but like, I thought she looked great. I will give an honorable mention to Jackie Aina. You guys know her from YouTube. She is a fellow, I mean, I can't even say fellow YouTuber because she's just blown up exponentially. I'm so proud of her that she was able to get to the Met Gala. I know that she had been trying to go for some years, and even though some people were not happy with her look, you guys, it still is a big deal for somebody like Jackie to have, you know, for her to have succeeded so much that she actually is there on the carpet and that people actually knew who she was. So I don't give a fuck really how she looked. I think that was just like awesome. I was just like, go Jackie. So that actually, when I saw that, I was just like, oh, you know, I was like, girl, you made it, you know, so good for her. But yeah, most of the fashions I just wasn't really with. You know, I wasn't really feeling it. I definitely was disappointed. Now Rihanna's look, it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't horrible, but it just looked like you just put on a big taffeta black thing that pretty much covered your whole, everything, you know? And then I think it just gets on my nerves that she's with A$AP Rocky. So I was just like, girl, how long you gonna be going through this shit where you with this boy? Like, when are you gonna drop this? Okay. The fact that he had that big old thing that looked like a comforter on, you know, that made me just look like, you know, and even when I saw the picture of the model that had that, whatever that was, a wrap, or, because I don't know if it was like a huge robe type of jacket. Even the model looked nicer when I saw the picture, but when I saw him with it, I was like, that looked a mess. And then when he dropped it, I was just like, I'm still not getting nothing. Just nothing. So, you know, every time I see her with him, I just be like, oh God, you know. But we still love Rihanna. It just wasn't my favorite. But, you know, others. Tracee Ellis Ross, she did definitely give me that. I felt like she was sticking to the theme. But I wasn't wowed by that. I just wasn't wowed by anything. There was nothing that made me just be like, oh, yes, that's it. Yeah. You guys tell me what your good and your bads and your uglies were. Who else? Chance the Rapper. Oh, you know who else I thought looked great? Was Pharrell and his wife. I loved that look. They had on like a leather Chanel pantsuit, but it was kind of like Western inspired, and it was like perfectly fit into their bodies. Like, I just loved it. I loved that look too. But yeah, it's just like nothing really, as a whole, I was just like, yeah, this is giving me nothing. So. But I love a good red carpet, so I did sit there and watch everybody and look at all the fashions, but nothing that just made me feel like, yes, girl, other than Kendall Jenner, honey. Kendall Jenner was it for me. All right, you guys, let's talk about your girl, Gabrielle Union. She has a new book coming out called You Got Anything Stronger? And in the book, she talks about a lot of things, I'm sure, but the snippet of the book that she has let out to entice people to read the book is when she talks about, she finally opens up about the break baby that she and Dwayne Wade had, or that Dwayne Wade had, unbeknownst to her, and all the feelings that came about that. Now, first, you guys know that Gabrielle Union is not my favorite person. Okay, and I try not to talk too much about her, but I will say that I'm sure that finding out that your man had a baby on the side is traumatic. I'm sure that hurt her quite a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna give her that. In the book, she said that it's shattered her soul into many, many fine pieces. All right, to find out that, well, finally in the book, she kind of says that he was cheating. Now, of course, back when the story came out, they tried to tell us that they were on a break. And when they broke up, that he went and had sex with this Metoyer Ataya, what's her name? You guys remember she was on Basketball Wives one season, or maybe more than that, I'm not sure. But they tried to say that they were on a break, and that's when he went and had sex with this girl and had this baby. However, I can remember clearly during that time that Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, at least in the public, was not on a break. I remember seeing them. They was out, it was everything was gravy. It was good. Okay. It was not making us look like, there was a problem in paradise. It wasn't like she was out without him, all of that. So, granted, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but in the public, they were still together. Okay, and I really believe in private, they were still together as well. Well, she finally says that, yes, they were together. Well, she doesn't really confirm that, but it's like this gray area. But evidently he went and had sex with this girl. They had the baby, and he ended up having to tell Gabrielle Union, who was having infertility problems at the time. Now, how are you on a break, but you guys are still in IVF? You're still trying to do in vitro fertilization, but supposedly you guys are on a break, and he goes and has, so none of that story is matching up. So I think it's very clear that, that he just was cheating. And that was what the result was. Now, they did make it back to each other, because I can remember reading articles where she said that, they had broken up. I think they really broke up after that baby came about. But she just felt like that was her person, and, she finally did forgive him, and they ended up working on it. And I'm sure he probably promised that, they were going to continue to try to get her pregnant. And then she finally just went on ahead and did the surrogacy. But, yeah, you guys, so she's talking about it in her book, You Got Anything Stronger? Talks about their relationship. They're raising their, Dwayne Wade's other kids. He had 2 kids with his former wife, and then he also had custody of, I think, either a nephew or a cousin. So he came with 3 boys, a side baby, and now she and Dwayne Wade have, their little girl. They seem to be happy now, so I'm sure they've worked out all the kinks and, whatever the issues were. That's good. That's actually great that they was able to land on their feet, and that their marriage and their relationship seems very sound and happy now. But yeah, she is talking about it in her book, you guys. And so if you are interested in knowing more about Gabrielle Union, then you are welcome to get it. I think the book is coming out very soon. Like I said, they are doing promos on it now. So will you be reading that book? I don't think we'll be reading it in the book club, so don't ask. And then lastly, you guys, let's wrap this up. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a 2-parter. Let's wrap it up with your boy, AAMo. AAMo, you guys know him as, you guys know I call him AAMo because I could never figure out if it was Alabama or Arkansas Mo. Okay. But his mama named him Maurice Fane. Okay. Your boy, AAMo, got 17 years. 17 years for playing his part in the bank fraud and conspiracy for fraudulently acquiring a PPP loan during the pandemic. So you guys remember the government, the federal government, was offering PPP loans to small businesses, people who were threatened to lose their business because they now did not have payroll to give to their employees. The government gave them a loan for them to make sure that they can keep their business afloat. Okay, this was something to keep, our economy from crashing. I'm trying to save these small businesses. So evidently, AAMo had a trucking company by the name of Flame Trucking. Okay, he applied for this loan back in April of 2020 for the amount of $3.7 million. The government did grant him the loan. All right. He did not get the 3.7 million because I guess that they break it up into, whatever, but he did get somewhere around $2 million. And the money was supposed to be for him to pay the rent, the mortgage, the place where he was supposedly keeping his fleet. He said that he had 107 employees. So this was to make sure that he can still pay his employees' salary. At least the bank seemed to believe him, and they gave him $2 million with, I'm assuming, 1.7 million to come. Okay. But what people did not seem to realize back then, and I told you guys this a long time ago, is that it ain't shit in life free, you guys. And when it is something that is free, then you need to make sure that you on the up and up when you go and applying for shit like this. So it was all kind of people going, it was a whole lot of talk about these small businesses. People were even asking me like, Roxanne, you're not going to try to figure out how you can make YouTube be your business and try to get it? No, I'm not doing that. Okay. And most of us know people that did these PPP loans and got $20,000 and all, but now we talking about, and you in trouble too. Okay. But when you talking about millions of dollars, yes, the government is fucking watching, and you are stupid, crazy to not think that. Okay. Yeah, we got busy. Things was hectic. COVID was all over, and the government had to, possibly put you on the back burner. But a lot of times the government just gives you enough rope to hang yourself. So this man got this money, and instead of doing what he said he was going to do with it, he bought a Wraith. Okay. He bought jewelry. He paid back pay on his child support. I guess that's good, $40,000. But he was living high on the hog, and yeah. You can't do that. So you guys remember when I told you that they raided the house? They went and got the damn car. I think he bought 2 cars, some other like expensive exotic race car. But the jewelry, he had all this money in the safe in his house. They took all of that. Okay. I'm sure his baby mama was happy when she got that $40,000. I don't know if that ended up going back to her or what, but they took all of that. They opened up this case. They also said that from 2013, I believe it is, until present, he was misleading his investors. He was caught up in a Ponzi scheme. He was getting money from his investors saying that, was going towards the business, and then he was using it for his own personal lifestyle. And finally, the government was just like, yeah, not today, nigga, not today. Okay. And they threw the book at his ass, gave him 17 fucking years. 17 fucking years. Okay. Just so you can say that you live in a certain style. Okay. When you were on the TV, and I'm sure he was living his life all that time, just doing foul shit, y'all, foul shit. So yeah, he's ruined his life, if you ask me, because 17 years, he's got to be somewhere in his 30s, early 40s or something like that. And you about to be in jail for a long ass time. Not only, and this is federal, so you gonna do them 17. Okay. And then he has 5 years of probation once he gets out of jail. And then he has to pay back the money, $4.3 million. Okay. Because not just the PPP loan, but also the money that he's, fraudulently got from his investors. So he got a big ass weight on him. And all I know is Big Baby Swole better be, that motherfucker better be praying over there, because he also was somebody that was caught up in something like this. And yeah, he was making light of it. Okay. And kind of it was he, ha, ha, ha. But now that we see that the government is not fucking around with y'all, Big Baby Swole, even though he's part of a team, it's not just him. I think they said it was like 11 people that he was involved with, but they also got a big amount of money. You know, he's also now facing trial and conviction. So I hope you guys wasn't one of them ones that was out there pulling out these PPP loans, child. I know even Wells Fargo, I mean, they was enticing, because every time I would log onto my Wells Fargo account, it would say right there, you know, because we had a business account at one time, and it would say, like, do you want a PPP loan? Do you want to apply? And it was just like, so I'm sure these people was like, ooh, this is some money I can get and all this. And yeah, you guys, this is bad. It's bad news. So your boy, AAMo, Alabama, Arkansas Mo, sent up the river. Somebody go out there and call Big Baby Swole and see how he doing. It's not a laughing matter. It's never a laughing matter when people got to go to jail. My heart goes out to anybody that's got to spend almost 20 fucking years in jail. Yeah, I mean, 20 fucking minutes in jail is too much for me, so I can't even imagine. So yeah, you guys, but you never win when you play dirty. Ain't that what Nene said? It's the truth every single time. All right, you guys, that is it. Let me get off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back.